things in order before the playoffs. USC star Juju Watkins was named ESPN's National Freshman of the Year in women's college basketball. The Compton native finished second in Player of the Year voting to Iowa's Caitlin Clark. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Climate is king.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that caring for the community means caring about the climate. You might have heard that we announced a pretty bold 12-month, $2 million campaign to do 4 things. Increase climate literacy, turn up the volume on communities of color in the climate conversation, connect everyday people with the resources they need to survive and thrive, and highlight frontline climate justice crusaders of color throughout this year. KBLA Talk 1580 will be bringing you insightful interviews on all of our shows to help raise your climate IQ. Each quarter this year, we will also be hosting free climate events in various communities throughout the city with food, fun, and forward-thinking conversations. Thanks to partners like LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, the Sierra Club, the California Community Foundation, the California Endowment, AQMD, MWD, and more. You'll also be hearing more about a couple of national town halls broadcasting live from Los Angeles, to which you will be invited. And we'll be rolling out a robust social media campaign on all our platforms, as well as an outdoor media campaign, all designed to educate, enlighten, and empower you in our fight for climate justice.
We want cleaner air.
Caring about the community means caring about the climate. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that we really can change the world if we care enough. 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 If we care enough.
I don't wanna write this down. I don't wanna tell you how I feel right now. I don't wanna take no time to write this down. I wanna tell you how I feel right now. Hey, tomorrow may never come. For you or me, life is not promised. Tomorrow may never show up. For you and me, this life is not promised. I ain't no perfect man. I'm trying to do the best that I can with what it is I have. I ain't no perfect man. I'm trying to do the best that I can with what it is I have. Put my heart and soul into the song. Yes, yes. I hope you feel me from where I am to wherever you are. I mean that sincerely. Tomorrow may never come. For you and me, life is not promised. Tomorrow may never appear. You better hold this very moment very close to you right now. Very close to you. Right now. So close to you. Right now. So close to you. Don't be afraid. Just let it shine.
KBLA Talk 1580 wants you. Let your light shine on the world. Give me a call, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. A lot going on, as always, in the station and in the world, and this is the great place to talk about it, right? So whether you're in the YouTube chat, that's youtube.com, KBLA 1580. If you want to hop in, whether you're on social media, we're at KBLA 1580 on all platforms. And I can be found at DiPrima Radio, DIPRIMA, and then radio. Miles can be found at Miles Low Music. Please like, subscribe, browse, and comment, even if you want to talk smack. At least we're talking. Hey, did you know it's the first day of spring today? Woo, I'm here for it. Happy, happy, happy to be in the new season. 800-920-1580, that's the number to call. Much brouhaha about Don Lemon's interview with Elon Musk. I've seen bits of it, haven't seen the whole thing. It's available right now. Bit testy. I guess you could call that a bit of a master stroke on the part of Don Lemon, because he got Elon Musk to do the interview, baited him to get angry, then posted it on X anyway, even though their deal is off, so he'll still get the revenue from that. He was able to get on CNN with it, even though he was fired from CNN. He got on, and I would say, well, that's the news business. I won't say unfairly, but it seemed like he was fired really for nothing. But, then he gets back on CNN, gets back on X, and is blowing up platforms. He's kind of pulling a little bit of Club Shay Shay on him. Anyway, in other Elon news, there's a black man who sued Tesla, the California factory, for discrimination. His name is Owen Diaz. He's African American. And he was awarded $3.2 million by a federal jury last year because he alleged, as the California Attorney General has, pervasive racial discrimination inside those Tesla factories. They have a section called the Plantation, apparently, reportedly, where black folks are assigned the hardest jobs, the least opportunity to move up the ladder, et cetera, et cetera. So he was given this big award, and then they were trying to reduce the amount that he got. Now, remember, this is the second verdict in this case. He's trying to hold Tesla accountable because he was called the N-word and abused when he worked in the Fremont, California factory. He wasn't there for a long time, but remember, originally he was awarded $137 million, and the judge had reduced that to $15 million, and then they were going to have a whole new trial because they didn't want to accept that lower amount. But then they said that they were going to do $3.2 million, and he was going to appeal that. Then Tesla did a cross appeal. Well, apparently, after all of this, they've come to an agreement, and apparently the man is getting close to $2 million. They're not releasing the details of that deal, but it's going to probably be the best resolution, because that would be costing a lot of money to appeal, and then also to fight the counter suit by Tesla. This, of course, is a company owned by Elon Musk, and y'all know that because a lot of y'all are driving those Teslas. And I get that they're modern and they're electric, so they're environmentally friendly. I saw one the other day with a bumper sticker that said, "I bought this before we knew how problematic he was." And I don't know. No judgment on you. It's a really nice car. Some of my close friends have Teslas, and almost every Uber driver in the world is, looking for a Leaf or a Tesla. But I can't drive a car that profits a man who runs factories that have built-in plantations where people are allowed to be called the N-word, who attacks trans people even though they themselves have a trans child on their platform, who seems to say that they're a free speech absolutist, but that only seems to apply to the right-wing folks on the platform, who, although he says he's not endorsing in this election, says he's leaning away from Biden. So what is that? Who are you leaning towards? Robert Kennedy? I doubt it. Did you guys see the picture of Robert Kennedy's entire Kennedy clan photo with, that scared me, Miles. The entire Kennedy clan photo with Joe Biden and no Robert Kennedy. Everyone, all the Kennedys except the current candidate, and they're all surrounding Biden. Someone on the thread said they should do more than take a picture, but I thought it was a pretty good start. It got people talking, and certainly made the point that the current Kennedy candidate does not represent the legacy of that family, which is still, quite powerful and has a lot of clout in this case. But keep in mind, even though this particular employee settled and he'll get his $1 million or whatever and a free Tesla, LOL, they're still being sued by California, by the state of California. And that has not yet been resolved. And apparently there is a federal suit, too, by the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. They've got a state case. And there are several other individuals that are suing. So the case against the car du jour in the hood, everybody seems to have a Tesla all of a sudden. Black people, it's just like Gucci. Oh, you disparage us with a racist sweater? We'll buy even more Gucci. I don't really get it. Maybe, I get, Gucci's cute and I get that Teslas are fancy and modernistic. But if your brand is built on disparaging, undermining my people, then no, that's a no for me. Every day, all day, that's a no for me. Not only that, it's going to be a no for me. Even if you do some little, PR patch-up job. I'm going to need, for me to move on, I'm going to need some kind of investment, right? And I said this on Front Page, and I still believe it. I'm tired of all the Don Imuses of the world, the Paula Deans of the world, the Dr. Lauras of the world, insulting us, discriminating us, against us, and then they say sorry and they move on. And we're like, okay, the Gucci's of the world coming at us, playing in our faces, and then they get away with it. They say sorry and they move on, still keep doing the same practices. I have a problem with that. I need you to make a donation. I need the Don Imus Memorial Scholarship at Howard University or Rutgers, which is actually where that happened. I need, the Paula Dean Fellowship for aspiring chefs at Howard University, or, for black chefs at any culinary institute. I need you to put your money where your mouth is. I need, Tesla to fund a giant tree canopy, right? What we were just talking about, right? When we talk about climate justice. I need, if Tesla put in, millions of dollars into the greening of black communities and apologize, then good. I'll drive one. Maybe. He's still leaning away from Biden, so I wouldn't be mad at you for driving one. I'm just saying. But I need you to do more than just give me lip service. I don't need lip service. I need actual investment in repairing the harm. It's not going to be reparation. It could be restitution, though, and I'm here for it. Want to talk to me about something? 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DiPrima, and I am right here, unapologetically progressive with KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Do it all by yourself, baby girl. What's your name? Let me talk to you. Let me buy you a drink.
Spilled your drink? Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up spills quicker. And each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading ordinary brand. So you can get back to your night. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure they'll get you your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt!
Switch to Jackson Hewitt and we'll beat what you paid last year, even if you filed online. Ain't nothing to it. Switch to Jackson Hewitt and pay less for tax prep, guaranteed. Proof of prior year payment required when filing. New clients only at participating locations through April 7th. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just 1 dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Imagine with me here for a minute the most beautiful panoramic setting. Maybe it's an endless ocean, waves crashing on a beach, or a crystal clear mountain lake, peaceful and quiet. Or maybe it's just little kids playing in the park down the street. Wherever your imagination takes you, now imagine right smack in the middle of this perfect picture, a piece of litter. Just one piece, right there in the middle of it all. Doesn't exactly fit, does it? In fact, even though it's just one piece, now it's all you can see. That one piece ruins everything. And that's the thing about litter. It doesn't take much to ruin everything. One thing's for sure, it simply does not belong anywhere in California. So here's the good news. If we work together, we will change it. We don't have to let litter, even just one piece, ruin your perfect picture. Not anymore, not ever again. Clean California, zero litter is the goal. Brought to you by Caltrans and CleanCA.com.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
It continues right now with you and with me, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. So y'all remember Judge Eileen Cannon, right? This is a Trump appointee who is over the Florida classified documents case. Well, we've been pretty much expecting her to continue to do Trump's bidding, as we have seen the Supreme Court do when his nominees basically activate their political superpowers and give him break after break. But there was a hearing in Florida to look at some of his motions, his lawyer's motions, to get the Florida documents case dismissed. But on Thursday, she rejected one of those motions. Eileen Cannon said that what Trump's lawyers were saying is that the Espionage Act is too vague. So they're basically saying that this act as written is too vague, so you should just strike down the whole thing. And she wasn't bold enough to do that. Basically, it is. She said it in her opinion that it would be a pretty extraordinary move for a judge to unilaterally strike down the Espionage Act, which is the main law that deals with how we handle classified documents. So she would have agreed with Trump's attorneys. Basically, until new laws were written, you could pretty much do whatever you wanted with classified documents. So that was a bridge too far for her, and she has dismissed that. And it may be, she kind of hinted that the case may be going to trial. She hasn't set a date yet. So the allies of the Trump team stalling tactics continue to deliver for him, but she wasn't willing to just wipe out the whole Espionage Act. We talked about the National Association of Realtors before. We had a guest, an expert on here. I don't claim to be one, but it looks like they have suffered a loss, that this loss is held up. It's an antitrust type of suit. They're going to have to pay $418 million in damages, and they're changing the rules. Now, this may end up causing houses to cost a bit less. It's definitely going to be a blow to realtors, people that work in that space, particularly probably, I imagine, small realtors. But the National Realtors Association is like this giant trade association with tons of clout. They have set the pricing to sell a home at 6% of the cost, and it's been that way for decades. Well, this series of lawsuits seems to have changed that, and it's going to completely reconfigure the real estate market. Apparently, and I didn't know this, that I got this from the New York Times, that typically, in other countries, people pay between 1% to 3% in seller's fees that go to the realtors, and it's usually split between the realtors of the buyer and the seller. In other countries, they only pay about 1% to 3%, so that's a huge difference. Their example is that a homeowner who sells a house with the old rules would pay about $60,000 in realtor fees. And with these new rules, it probably could go down to like $10,000 or even less. So we'll see how this is partly, when these markets get blown up like this, a lot of times the internet is to blame. I mean, right? You look at the way travel agencies are now almost a thing of the past. They can't charge fees like they used to because they have to compete with Kayak and Expedia and stuff like that. And this is kind of that, it's taxis to Lyft. It's when the internet steps in the space, it's hotels to Airbnb. Well, it's now happening to the realty business model. And so, stay tuned. If you're selling your house, this could be great news for you. Even if you're buying a house, because you don't have to pay as much to help cover the cost of the sellers, buyers or sellers. I might be saying that wrong. Let me take that back and get that expert back in here. But apparently it's going to get cheaper to buy or sell a house. I didn't get a chance to talk about this, but this was from last week, but I think it's important. France, as a country, has enshrined abortion rights in their constitution. And so it's now the only nation in the world that has guaranteed a woman's right to control her reproductive future, to terminate a pregnancy voluntarily. It's the only country in the world, and they are trying to put up a firewall against the kind of thing that happened here in the United States. Thank you, Donald Trump. Thank you, Republican Party. And it won in a landslide. It's been legal there since the 70s, but they wanted to make sure that what happened here does not happen there. And I'm sure you've read and seen that Israel, Gaza is facing what they call famine, right? And this is, I say what they call famine, because they're saying they could be days away from famine or weeks away from famine. But these are when you get into very technical terms or what we consider famine. Now it's a food catastrophe. In 2 weeks, it'll be a famine. From my perspective, as a non-expert, they're already in a famine because kids are dying of hunger. But I guess that doesn't meet the actual standard for famine. The problem is people are starving. Israel is blockading aid from getting into the Gaza Strip. The aid trucks are barely getting in there. The food is available. The international community is ready to step up. They have to be let in there. But even if the blockade stopped, the bombing would have to stop because it's not safe for aid workers and trucks to go in right now. And that's one of the reasons why ceasefire, whether temporary or permanent, we hope it's permanent, has to happen, and has to happen soon. I mean, the only reason I'm pointing this out about famine versus food catastrophe is because, to me, it's splitting hairs. When children are dying, I don't need to know what your terminology is for it. We need to get food into those folks. It's really problematic that a delegation is coming to the United States from Israel to meet and talk about this, and Israel's back at the table in Qatar working on some kind of ceasefire. But, kids are actually starving to death. And I don't need to know the terminology for that. It's just wrong. It has to stop. Let's go to Randy calling us from Watts. Hi, Randy.
Good morning, Dominique. I really appreciate the fact that you, like I told you years ago, that you're one of the smartest people that I know.
Thank you.
And keep us informed with what's going on. Now, we're looking at this situation with pollution and climate, right?
Yes.
The average person does not realize the tailpipe emissions that we have from our cars is nowhere as bad as the tire wear and the brakes that we have in our cars. These things pollute 500 times more than the tailpipes. And with the EV cars, it's over 1,500 because the EV cars...
Oh, explain to me what you're talking about right now. How do my tires add to pollution? And we'll continue after news, traffic, and sports, but just give me that part.
Okay.
No, you go ahead. You got 30 seconds right now.
As the tire wears down, it creates carbon monoxide, NOx, and CO2 emissions that goes into the atmosphere. Our brakes that we have is mostly asbestos, metal, and other items that wear and go into the atmosphere. These items we've known for years. I mean, I'm not a scientist, but I was a nerd in high school.
Okay, hold that thought, my high school friend. We'll continue the conversation after news, traffic, and sports on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Primary elections are set for 5 states today, although both President Biden and former President Trump have already passed their respective parties' delegate threshold. Arizona, Florida, Illinois, Kansas, and Ohio will all hold elections. Trump visited Ohio over the weekend, while Biden will make stops in Nevada and Arizona today. National Civil Rights Attorney Benjamin Crump was in Raleigh, North Carolina Monday to announce the filing of a $25 million lawsuit against the city, the police department, and the police chief. This on behalf of the family of Darrell Williams, a black man who died in January of 2023 after being tased multiple times. Crump accused police of tasing Williams 6 times after he told them that he suffered from a heart condition. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Why settle for ordinary when you can have extraordinary hair? Visit your local SoCal FS Cut and Color salon today and let their team of expert stylists pamper you with affordable luxury. Get a free shampoo with every cut. Book your appointment today at fantasticsams.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers rode to an easy win over Atlanta last night at Crypto. They won by 31, their largest victory margin of the season. D'Angelo Russell had 27 points and 10 assists. LeBron had 25 and 10 assists. The Lakers moved up to 9th place in the Western Conference standings. They are 2.5 games behind Phoenix for the 8th and final playoff spot. The Lakers have 13 games left in the regular season. Something is wrong with the Clippers. They are 1-4 in their last 5 games and lost by 17 at home Sunday night to Atlanta. The Clippers have 15 games remaining in the regular season to get things in order before the playoffs. USC star Juju Watkins was named ESPN's National Freshman of the Year in women's college basketball. The Compton native finished second in Player of the Year voting to Iowa's Caitlin Clark. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio that's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
This Easter, March 31st at 11:07 a.m., ECM will be at the Redondo Beach Performing Arts Center. We are inviting everyone to meet us there as we will be presenting the Black Resurrection Experience. What good is Jesus' resurrection if we are still living in cultural graves? ECM will present a stage play production that will address Black dignity, Black worth, Black unity, Black ownership, Black vote, police brutality, generational wealth, mental health, Black power through Jesus' power, and most of all, your purpose in life through the murder of Jesus Christ. And we will tell this entire story with singing, dancing, acting, rapping, with a little bit of preaching from yours truly, Pastor Shep. The Black Resurrection Experience. Easter morning at the Redondo Beach Performing Arts Center. It's totally free, so come get your free.
Hey Californians, are you ready to make your home ownership dreams come true? The California Dream for All Shared Appreciation Loan Program might be for you. First-generation homebuyers can get down payment and closing cost assistance along with a first mortgage to help you unlock the door of your new home. Applications open in April, so talk to an approved lender to see if you're eligible. Find out more at calhfa.ca.gov/dream or call 877-922-5432. A message from the California Housing Finance Agency.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
Okay, so I'm talking to Randy from Watts, and he was saying that brakes and tires are just as polluting as fossil fuels. I don't know if I haven't seen the comparison, but I did do some quick research during news, traffic, and sports, and what you're saying so far tracks that the tires actually are a significant source of pollution, not only of air, but also soil and water.
Yes.
So go ahead, Randy.
You know, and this is one of the things that when when we're impacted with this, and we take these classes in school, it doesn't sink in. When you buy a tire, the amount of tread on your tire, it depends on how thick it is and whether the tire can grip the highway or not, and you're not slipping all over. As that thing wears down, nobody thinks about where does this material go. It goes in the atmosphere, and it's the same thing with our brakes. Now we go to the EV cars. This EV car is a battery with 4 engines on it, 4 electric motors. There's a motor on every tire. So the tire and the brakes are working 500 times harder to run an EV car.
Okay, Randy. I mean, I'm aware of that too. But here's the thing, Randy. I know you're a trucker. That's your background, and so you're automatically gonna have an agenda against electric vehicles. For not all, but many do.
No, it's not the idea, not an agenda. It's very positive, but I don't like the fact that the people or the big brother is putting this in our minds that this is bad.
Well, I don't think it's big brother. I mean, the science does back it up, even though there are problems. So what are we going to do right now, whether it's an electric vehicle or whether it's a traditional fossil fuel vehicle? Even if it was, even if we created a vehicle that runs on water, what you're saying, what you're pointing out, which I'm looking at this information from Yale University, that's backing you up as far as the tires go, which I wasn't aware of. And most of them are not even made with natural rubber, or they're made with just a small amount of natural rubber. It's synthetic.
Very small amount.
And
mostly fossil fuels.
Right. It's made with fossil fuels. And it's also like hard to dispose of. I mean, but what do we do? That's like, so what you're saying is that we can't just say, oh, I can't do anything. So since I need tires for my vehicle, is there an alternative to tires at this point?
Well, one thing that I agree with you and you agree with me, we have to put more trees and greenery in our surroundings to compensate for this madness that we're doing. Other than that, it's the horse and buggy.
Well, I mean, I don't think you can quite say it's horse and buggy, because an electric vehicle, so far, it still has tires, but and brakes, and with the brakes, it's the dust created by the brakes, which is hazardous that you can inhale, which makes me wonder about mechanics and their health. But, okay, so it's going to have brakes and it's going to have tires.
It's not good.
No, I give you that. That's a fair point. But still, if you have one that's emitting, greenhouse gases that tear down the environment and one that doesn't, they're both bad, but one is not as bad. It's not big brother to say, let's go electric, because it does reduce the amount of emissions, even though it doesn't solve the problems that you're pointing out with the tires or with the brakes or with the batteries. And, we haven't even started on the minerals needed for those batteries and the conflict minerals being pulled from the Congo and elsewhere, and all of the problems with that. I'm not saying that electric vehicles solve all of our transportation problems, but what if you're going to go zero pollutants, then you're going to stay home, right? Or walk.
That's right.
Even bikes have tires. I mean...
Yeah, but Dominique, you are educating our community, and you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
I just threw a little bit more firewood on the campfire. That is not just fossil fuels coming out of the engine. That is the reality. And when I talk to people like Dave Engstrom, who's at UCLA, he's a climatologist, and he's a good friend of mine. And even though nobody wants to know that Dave Engstrom and Randy Thomas communicate, it's all a sham.
They know now.
Somebody's trying to get you to go one direction when the reality of it, the case in point,
I don't think it's all a scam. No, it's not. I don't think it's all a scam. I got to push back on you on that, Randy, because the mentality, whether it's coming from climate activists who say, "Oh, we're lost, we're all going to die," or whether it's coming from climate deniers who say, "Oh, well, the tires suck and the brakes suck, so why, so it's all a scam." No, that is the mentality that says that we can't do anything about it, so we might as well roll over and die and leave our children and grandchildren a planet that's uninhabitable by human life. That's not. It's not all a scam. What we've got to do is fix the other problems too, right? We can't say, "Oh, well, the tires are a problem, so F the electric vehicles." We have to say, how do we fix the problem with the tires? How do we, how do we create vehicles? And I hate to break it to you, Randy, but I doubt it's the flying cars that Trump is promising us in his latest campaign.
That's hocus pocus. No, one of the things that we agree on is we've got to put more foliage out. We've got to plant more trees.
Mm-hmm.
We have to, and we have to conserve our water in our aquaries, like that statement you was talking about with the Sacramento River going into saving groundwater to help us sustain our agriculture. These are the things that we have to do. But these things are so boring in high school and in college. Okay, that's when I graduated, everybody says general on a diploma. Mine says agriculture. Why? Because I was a nerd. Okay, and growing and producing is our main backstay of our society. So you keep informing us, and I'll keep reading unnecessary things that I really don't need to.
No, you need to. You need to. We love your unnecessary knowledge. I think I'm joining you in that geek squad, because sometimes I'm like, why do I know that? Why did I read that? Why did I retain it? I'm sure you've heard me say things on the radio sometimes where we're like, what? Where did that come from? So there's something to be said for gathering endless, interesting information. But look, there's a difference between high school and now. I mean, I don't know about you, Randy. Actually, I do, but I'm not going to admit that I do. But it's been a minute since I was in high school, and now it's a crisis. It is a crisis. So now it's not just a teacher droning on. It's what are we doing about our future? How are we setting up our children and grandchildren so that we can make things better? Because we can. And I know we don't have all the answers, but someone's figuring out tires as we speak. In fact, they probably already have. It's just, being suppressed by the tire industry or whatever, because that's usually what happens. But what I'm saying to you is saying it's all a scam and throwing up our hands is not the answer. Getting smarter, raising our climate IQ, raising our understanding of this crisis and what we need to do to fix it, getting in the space and being those nerds and geeks that come up with the solutions for the next generation. I feel like that's where we need to be. Not, it's all a scam. That's the same fatalistic, both parties are the same attitude that can lead to us ending up with an authoritarian, coal-driven, nuclear war-doing country, and that's not the future that I am willing to sign off on, Randy.
Yeah, well, you keep us informed. You're doing your job, and your dad has got to be very pleased with what you're doing.
Thank you.
You are giving us more information than we ever thought we could, because for the most part, we're just going down the road trying to survive. We don't know.
I also think what happens is we absorb stuff. That's why I do Talking Point Tuesday. We're going down the road, but we're also scrolling social media. We're listening to mainstream news. We're going in the barbershop and talking with other people, and in the salon, other people who are scared and worried and fatalistic. And I just want us to push back on that. On this Talking Point Tuesday, anytime we hear ourselves saying, it doesn't make a difference, it's, what's the use? It's all the same. There's no solution. I want us to stop ourselves. Because that fatalistic attitude, we'd still be enslaved. We go north with a gun? You crazy? That ain't going to work. What's the use? White man to the north, white man to the south. It's all the same. Nah,
Well,
can't do it.
At least we know. At least most of us know which way is north, because for the most part,
yeah,
we don't know. I mean, about 90% of the people I come into cannot point me out north and south because they have no idea where they are on the planet.
Yeah, but at least for the moment, they can still vote in the North and the South. Randy, it's always great to talk with you. Randy called 800-920-1580, and you can too. We are uplifting Black and progressive voices around the clock. We are KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Oh, this cold.
Honey?
Honey?
Honey, you need DayQuil Severe Honey.
DayQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste, because life doesn't stop for a cold.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Now I'm getting a cold.
Honey.
Try DayQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu relief. DayQuil Severe with honey flavor. The daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honeylicious, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
The thing no one tells you about periods is that your flow changes every day, and so should your tampon size. Tampax has 5 absorbencies to match your changing flow. If it hurts to remove, go down a size. If it leaks, go up a size. Only Tampax has a leak guard braid to help give you up to 100% leak and odor-free protection. All-day comfort and protection for under $5 a month. Based on average U.S. consumer usage at manufacturer's suggested price. However, pricing is at the sole discretion of the retailer. Excludes 8-count pack.
Girl, I have a secret. When I get stressed out, I get sweaty. That's why I use Secret Clinical Antiperspirant. It's like my own secret weapon. For 72 hours, I get Secret's strongest protection against sweat caused by stress, heat, and activity, because you know how crazy life can get. Plus, it's made with advanced odor fighters that don't just cover up smelliness. They help prevent it from happening in the first place. Believe me, if I weren't wearing Secret, I'd be a hot, smelly mess. Thankfully, Secret works.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Right now, appreciate you. I'm reading. Never thought I'd read this. Tire Review magazine. Thank you, Randy. It says that they are currently working to create alternatives to some of the various fibers used in tires, even though they'll probably still have to use petroleum and steel. This says they're working on soybeans, dandelions, tomatoes, moss, and other natural substances to make tires less toxic. More on that later. I feel like this is what we were meant to do. Thank you for that, Randy. We said we were going to get smarter in our approach to climate justice, and apparently that is exactly what we are doing. Let's go to Barbara calling us from Orange County. Good morning.
Good morning, Dominique. I just want to say, as far as climate and what we can do as people, I wonder how many people in Southern California have rain gutters on their house. I've ordered rain gutters and they never show up. But what I did was the water department had some rain barrels, 75 gallons, that were $30 a piece, and I bought 3 of them. Those barrels, when it rained hard, those barrels filled up in 45 minutes.
And what do you do with that water?
I use it when it gets warmer, like 3 weeks later it was warmer. I use that water to water my grass and to water all my plants. And I gave some to my neighbors because it kept filling over because it kept raining. So I went to my recycle section where I hold my water bottles that I'm saving to recycle, and I had not smashed them. They were gallon water bottles. I filled up 23 of them and set them aside and gave them to the neighbors. But my rain barrels were still filling over.
So you're not drinking it, but you're using it. You're using it for your lawn. That makes sense.
And what I think we need to do as a people is to try to get a law on the books that these houses that they're building, they need to require that they add on rain gutters, and also we need to add that they can limit the cost to like 80 cents a square foot.
Now, when what is it that the rain gutters are meant to do, other than keeping the rain, off of your house?
Because the rain gutters, you have a downspout. You can direct that spout right into the rain barrel.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I gotcha. Yeah. Mine seems to pound right on my window. The spout is right there. But I get it. In Africa, one of the things I noticed is that many of the homes have tanks on the top, and they do catch water. They'll have like a large size water tank, and I'm not sure, probably they're using it for washing and watering and stuff like that, but it's much more common there. And I've mentioned this before. I've found out from having a child in an elite school that many of these fancier homes, they're building water tanks under their swimming pools or tennis courts, so that when it rains, they have a reservoir there that they can fill.
That is great. But New York, a lot of those tall buildings, they have the water things on top of the house to use for the toilets. On top of those large buildings, hotels and stuff, their water.
Yeah, like that famous one in LA where the girl was found stuffed in the tank. Is that the Omni? Yeah, I think it was. That the woman. Anyway, I digress. Stay with me, Barbara, if you like. We continue the conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Are you interested in catching up on all the latest entertainment news, trending topics, and exciting interviews? I got you. Tune in to The Raw Report with Robin Ayers, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. I'm your host, Robin Ayers. Join me every weekday with some of the best entertainment contributors in the business as we break down what's going on, who's got next, and what not to miss. Only on The Raw Report with Robin Ayers.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Heard any other talk radio lately that sounds anything like this? We didn't think so. You're listening to Unapologetically Progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
We're talking with Barbara, calling us from Orange County. She's a proponent of rain gutters, so you can direct all that rainfall that's hitting your roof into a water barrel of some kind. I was mentioning that I see them all the time on the roofs in Africa when I travel, and actually had wondered if we could somehow, since no one wants our recycled plastic anymore, create some kind of sustainable business that converts all these plastic bottles into water tanks. But now we find out that the microplastics from those bottles is leaching into the water, so that might not be the best idea after all. But what I was talking about was it was the Cecil Hotel where that hotel's supposed to be haunted anyway. Someone was murdered and stuck in a tank of a hotel and was there for like 2 weeks. But the reason I thought of it is because I didn't think we really had water tanks on roofs out here like what you were talking about in New York, Barbara. But apparently we do at the Cecil Hotel. So, yeah, I mean, I think we got to think about all of those things and start being more creative about our use of water.
Yes, and while you mentioned the tires and all, there's a young lady in Africa who majored in biology. She's taking those tires and plastics and making bricks, and they're building houses. I don't remember what country it was, but they're using them for building houses, so I didn't know how toxic they are and what they're doing. But I know that India is using tires and making the material out of them, and rugs and stuff like that they're using. But as far as when you mentioned, I don't know what Trump said about flying cars, but there are 4 companies that have been selling stock in their company where they have flying vehicles that they're trying to get through testing through the government. And I believe one of them is in Southern California. I know there's 2 in the Bay Area.
Well, yeah. Okay. So we have just seen a ban by the Environmental Protection Agency of the last remaining form of asbestos that was still legal in the United States. So that's good. On the tire front, hadn't heard that about the bricks, but I will certainly look into it. And I wonder if that toxicity is a problem. I had seen statues and sculptures using those. When it comes to Mr. Trump, the flying cars is just one of his many campaign promises. And yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath waiting for the king of fossil fuels to come up with your flying car. But the driverless cars have arrived in L.A. They were already in San Francisco. And honestly, I'm not a fan. I think it puts, Uber, Lyft drivers out of business. And also, when I was in San Francisco, they kept stopping in traffic. And, you honk all you want. There's no driver.
Yeah,
it's
had
stuck.
Them in Vegas for a couple of years.
Really?
I think those in Vegas for a couple of years. And no, I don't think they're good for us based on all the problems that Tesla has had. I don't think I want to be on the road with a car that's driving itself.
Yeah, because when it breaks down, you're stuck, and you have to wait for someone from the company to come and remove that car before traffic can flow again. Let me tell you, that's the last thing we need in L.A., and let it happen once or twice, and those cars are going to be out of here.
Rescue mission up at the top of the building, the one downtown, they had their playground. The furniture is made from milk crates, but the stuff that they had on the ground by the playground was made from tires.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you for the conversation. We got to go. We're up against news, traffic, and sports. Beautiful to talk with you, Barbara. Hope you'll call again. Up next, we have L.A. City Attorney Heidi Feldstein Soto, plus Deputy LAPD Chief Amada Tingaritas, and we are talking human trafficking. Don't miss it. KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Primary elections are set for 5 states today, although both President Biden and former President Trump have already passed their respective parties' delegate threshold. Arizona, Florida, Illinois, Kansas, and Ohio will all hold elections